Alrighty, so let's work on week one attendance. And I'm viewing Canvas as a student. So this is the way you will see it once you get to this week one video. But as you can see, and I talked about this in the start here, the course is set up to enforce or make you work through it in sequence. Okay, so now that I've submitted as a student to start here, and I've now viewed the course Discord link and content. Now I'm ready to look at week one attendance. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so for week one attendance, there's a couple things I just want to give you a heads up on. As always, the sooner you work on this stuff, and if you need help, and heard me say this, so it's kind of one of my things that I say is work ahead whenever possible. That way, if you need help, you can get it. All right, so I'm excited you're here for sure. I'm excited actually to be recording this video right now. It's right before the start of the fall semester. So one of the things in this week one I want to talk about is actually the next item that is going to be in the sequence of week one, which is setting up your dev environments. So there's two ways in this course that you can do that. And one is local, so it's local to your machine. Like as for myself, I am on a Mac right now, but I have VS Code, which is not, if you don't know what VS Code, it's an IDE. You'll learn more about this later. But I have all the things I need on my local system. Okay, so what that means is I can work locally on the assignments needed for this class. Now, for this particular class, I actually recommend using CodeSpace. And the reason is it's not, I wouldn't say much, it's just simpler and more straightforward. It's cloud based. So, as part of your GitHub account, you get access to this. Git is redundant here, but you will have the ability to set up a code space. Now, I will walk you through this in the next assignment, but I want you to think about this now. So now and this is often students will ask me, hey, how should I choose? And I would say choose based on the type of setup you have that you work on. So if you happen to work on several different machines, or you're just struggling to, or if you didn't, let me say it this way, if you've never done any terminal command line stuff, maybe you go for code space. And so in this case, I generally suggest for this course, students will start with code space because it's just much more straightforward, not really the setup part. And you'll see this when we get to the next item, fairly straightforward. The only downside of code space, and I honestly don't think it is a downside, is that they do limit the number of hours you can use. But honestly, I've been using CodeSpace with my students for almost 3 years. I've only had two students ever hit up against the limit. So I think they're there, but in most cases they don't. Now, just know also that in week three, we will convert or we will have you set up a local dev environment just because that is a part of web development and this course setup. Okay, so your development environment, you get to choose. I suggest CodeSpace. If you've had any of my other classes or prior experience with Git and GitHub, then you can go straight to local. Okay, so again, I cover this in the next assignment. All right, now the next thing is for this assignment for week one. Oh, and by the way, just let me clarify because you can, and I think I say this down here, is if you have any questions about the dev environment, definitely post them here. This will be a great time to ask or reach out. Remember, contact me through the inbox. Discord is a way to connect with other students. I've already talked about that, but reach out. And if I happen to be on Discord and see a question, I will attempt to answer it. But the best way to communicate with me is directly in the inbox or in my office as well. Okay, now for the next assignment, you have an intro video. And this is one of those assignments I've started to include in the last year for a variety of reasons. I just think it's good for us to see each other. But also, I understand that this can be a little intimidating. So I do offer an alternative option, which I will talk about in a minute. So here's what you want to do. You're going to record a short video, 1 to 2 minutes max, doesn't have to be long, introducing yourself and explaining why you're taking the course. Make sure your face and voice must be included in the video, right? You can use any device, it doesn't really matter. Now, for this assignment, in addition to recording the video, you're going to upload the video to a cloud service. So you might have seen, if you've used Canvas, which I suspect some of you have, and I'm going to go ahead and hit a reply, that there is an attach option inside. I'm looking for it. Looks like it actually is not here now. So maybe by default, they've not included it. But just don't attach the file directly into Canvas if you know how to do that. Because for this one, actually what you're going to do is reference, and I'm just kind of looking around. Upload. Oh yeah, so you can upload, and don't do that, because as part of web developers, what you learn is to put things out on the cloud and then reference that from a link or an embedded concept. But I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. So I stopped there before I started this part. So just to say, don't attach the video directly. What this does is it honestly just makes Canvas larger, which we don't necessarily need. And knowing how to do what we're about to show you is just a better skill. That's the way it is. So you lose points if you attach. So that's my incentive there to help you with that. Now, what cloud service can you use? I don't care. It is really up to you. And I've listed some here. I even listed some, that may not be here that you may be familiar with. I don't care. The key is you're going to share a link. Okay. So when you go down and write your post here, and you'll do some other things in the post, right? But in this case, you'll share the link to that video so we can all check it out. Now, I think I have all three up right now. YouTube is my particular cloud provider that I like to use for my videos because I just use it for everything. But Google Drive, also part of the Google ecosystem, is there. OneDrive, because you all have it. And like I said, there's others out there that you can use. So as an example, I recorded a short video on my phone, and I went into my system and I downloaded it, and I have it on my local system. Okay. Now, many phones these days, you can actually record it on your phone. Like I said, doesn't matter where you do this. And then there's an option to put it on YouTube at that point. So that's kind of why YouTube is a nice option, because it gives you that key of having, or that interface to do that. But the key is that probably some of you, and I totally understand this, don't want to share this with the world. So one of the things I'm going to have you do is share just the link. And then there's different ways to set this as far as who can view it. But in general, I'll say set the share link to anyone with the link itself, so that it's not publicized to the world. It's anybody, in this case, in this course, that actually can click on a link to see your video. Okay, so it's a way to limit the visibility of that. All right, so I'm going to come back over here. I'm in YouTube, right? I'm actually in my studio, so I actually could go back just to the regular YouTube first, right? And in YouTube, there is this create, okay? So you can upload video. Now, in this case, I can select the file, and I happen to remember, and this is the key, if I have downloaded it. Now, if I have it on my phone, I would need to have access to it somewhere. But I would go into my user account, I would go into downloads, I would find the video I just did, okay, and then I would say open. Now at this point, it actually, and you can just drag that as well. So right now it's uploading it, right? And it's actually, in this case, it's not just uploading it. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss that. I don't need to tag this. I'm going to show you the next part. And it's actually already created. And in this case, it used a YouTube short, which is not necessarily what I normally do. But I thought, we could do this. Okay. So, and I have to say, it's not for kids. It's still, and by the way, what it does is it processes it up to different quality as well. So that's a URL that we'll see also in a minute. So the next thing is I'm not adding any related video. I'm not going to do any subtitles. So I hit next here. It's doing some checks. And what that is if you include music or if you include other copyrighted content, they will flag it. So just don't do that, right? In general, don't include music. Don't do any of that. I'm going to hit next. Now, this is where you can tell it to do unlisted. Okay, so doing unlisted again is a really nice way to do it. And in this case, I could go ahead and copy the link. Now, the process I'm working through here is similar to Google Drive, is similar to OneDrive, but YouTube actually has a bit more involved as far as the things that it asks you. It just kind of makes it pretty easy. But again, unlisted, and this is what I recommend for the way you're going to share this, is anyone with the video link can watch it. Okay, I'm going to hit save here. And now what's happening is now it's like, okay, here it is. It gives me a copy of it. And at this point, I believe it's still processing it, right? But I can go ahead and do the rest of the work, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, what you're going to do, and in this case, it's not here yet. I'm going to say no. I'm not going to answer any questions. Let's see if it actually shows up on my list yet. And it hasn't. Oh, yeah, in shorts. So it'd be in my shorts, right? So it might. So again, shorts are fairly common for people who use YouTube. And I can see it's visible. And I just came in here, honestly, just to look around. Okay, I'm going to grab that link. Okay, so now back here. In the discussion, what you're going to do is you're going to end up pasting this link. Okay, now the nice thing about this, and I just created it, and I'm going to hit enter here, and notice it underlines it. And what it does there is it automatically creates the HTML to actually make this a link that somebody can click on. So if you ever wanted to see that, you can come down here and it unveils switches to the text editor. Now this is good because this is part of what we're learning in this class. Not that you have to understand all this, but basically what this says is when you hit enter, automatically Canvas generated these tags so that when somebody else comes in here, it then is a link they can click on. But let me give you a little heads up here. By doing the next step, you can ensure that you actually shared this correctly, because part of this is not just doing the video, uploading the video, and then sharing the link. It's also making sure we can see it, okay? Because what happens is if you miss a step, as an example, in here, and you make the visibility something different, like you can actually make it private. If you made it private, I wouldn't be able to see it or anyone else. So as an example, on Drive, there's a similar thing. I think I can just do new file upload. I could go to that same file just to have it, just to give you those examples. And here, there's a lot less options. But the idea is that when you're going to share it, less than 1 minute to go, there it is. And so same idea over in OneDrive. But in here, then what I would do is add people. And I would say restriction only people with access to the link. And then I could copy the link. Okay. So I'm just giving you these two quick ways because one thing I want to show you is, and I'll just paste that, right? So you can see the difference between the two of them, right? So here's the YouTube short. Here's the Google Drive, same video. Again, you only need to do one, but I'm just giving you the URL example. Now, to test this, and this is really what you want to do here, is you want to test this because when you have a link like this, you have to make sure the user, before they go to it, and this is a part of being in web development too, actually want to make sure it works. We're doing a little testing on the work that we did. So how do you do that? Well, in Chrome, which is my chosen browser, and if you have a different browser, totally cool. You can use that as well. But in Chrome and in all browsers, there's some way to go incognito. And what incognito means is like right now, I'm logged into my YouTube. I'm logged into my Drive. So when I click on these links or I try to go to them directly here, right, because I can just copy it, it's going to use my authentication. Notice this, right? So how do I then see it from a general user, just who would, another student in the class? Well, that's where you can go here and you can go incognito and it pops up a new window and it tells you, hey, you know, you're viewing this now when I go here. See if I get that, that tells me I missed something in the setup. Okay, so this is good. Actually, I didn't realize I did that. So this is good. Let me actually copy this one and see if I did this one right. Oh, do I still have incognito up? No, I guess I did close it some reason. So I'm going to go incognito again. Let's see if that one worked. Yeah, so that one worked. Okay. All right. So now what I could do is come back to here and go, okay, how did I do that? Maybe I didn't restrict it. Oh, you know what? I bet I didn't do this. I bet I didn't do done. I bet that's what happened. Only people with, oh, actually, I missed this here. I should have had this anyone with the link. So this is fairly common, and this is why you test. You might think I did that on purpose. I honestly didn't. But again, you want to make sure anyone with the link, I can copy the link again. I can hit done. And then I would do that same thing where I would go incognito, right? Paste it. And now if I've done it right, it should show up, and it does. Okay. So not only are you creating the video, right? And again, fairly short, 1 to 2 minutes, right? You're somehow uploading it to some cloud service. And in this case, you're testing to make sure, right, that the video is actually visible to people who are not authenticated as you are when you're looking at it. Now, this is all important to this class. This is why I like this first assignment, and I get how students might not, because they might not feel comfortable sharing. Again, I'm going to give you an alternative. But regardless, if you do the alternative or not, still know how to do these things for a class like this. Now, if you're uncomfortable creating, right, or sharing a video, no problem. I totally respect that. I give you an option. You can come meet with me one-on-one in Zoom. Now, you want to do this quickly because I actually will drop students who do not complete this process by Tuesday of the first Tuesday of the semester by 5. So don't be in that, don't lag on this. Get it done as soon as possible. So you could come into my Monday, 8:10 at 1 o'clock. If you don't know where my office hours and where the Zoom is, it's up here in simple syllabus. Okay. On 8:11, you can do that same office hour. Actually, this office hour pertains to both of these days, right? Now, if these don't work for you, email me definitely by Monday, 8:11, and let's figure out a time that will work. And you need to be on my schedule. And it needs to be, even if we're just working on a schedule, sometime in that first 3 days of the semester. And that's why the sooner you reach out to me, the better this is going to be. Okay? All right, so that's your alternative option. And I've had students take this, it's totally fine. You might say in your reply that you're doing the alternative option. That way you can go ahead and get the rest of the points here. So 70 points comes from either that video or meeting with me in the course, okay? 10 points comes whether you understand the local versus cloud environment. And if you're unsure, this is a great time to ask, right? If you've taken my classes before, tell other students who are new your experience, right? And it's okay if it's not good. I hope it was, but if it wasn't, tell them that as well. And maybe give them like keys to suggestions to succeed, right? And then do 2 substantive replies, right? So this, again, you should only end up with 1 link here, okay? And then you'll have your writing part there as well. Okay, I know I've covered a bit of information in this video, but the idea was to get you started in the right frame and introduce some concepts that you will use along the way in this course. Please reach out if you need any help with any of this. And next thing you'll do is actually set up your dev environments. I'll be looking at that assignment next. Have a great one. I look forward to connecting with you.